When I look at you, it's more than just your face. I see the story you're telling without saying a word. There's something magnetic about you that pulls me in deeper than I ever expected. Every glance from you feels like a secret between us, one I can't ignore. In a world full of distractions, you're the one thing that has my undivided attention. I find myself thinking of you more often than I care to admit. I wonder what it's like to live inside your thoughts, to see the world through your eyes. When you look at me like that, my heart skips a beat, and I can't help but smile. You don't have to speak for me to know exactly what's on your mind. I can't explain why, but something about you makes me want to know everything, down to the smallest detail. When I see you, it's as if time stands still. Everything else fades into the background. The way you carry yourself says more than words ever could. Your presence lingers long after you've left, making me wonder what you're thinking. There's an intensity in your eyes that keeps me wondering what's going on behind them. Every time our paths cross, my curiosity grows, and I can't help but want to learn more. You've caught my attention, and I don't think I can look away. The way you look at me makes me feel seen, like you're peeling back layers that no one else has touched. Sometimes, all it takes is a single look to make me feel like I'm the only person in the room. There's a certain energy between us, one that feels electric and undeniable. Your eyes are like a mystery I want to unravel, one layer at a time. When you walk into the room, everything else fades. I can't help but focus on you. I often wonder what you're really thinking when you glance my way. It's funny how a simple look from you can make me feel so much in a split second. Your silence speaks louder than words, and I'm trying to understand the message. I feel this pull towards you, an invisible force that I can't explain but can't ignore. Sometimes I wish I could read your mind just to know what you're really thinking about me. When you look at me with those eyes, it feels like you're speaking directly to my soul. There's a connection between us that neither words nor time can explain. I've caught myself daydreaming about what it would be like if you and I shared more than just a glance. Your presence is like a wave, and I'm helplessly swept up in it. The way you look at me tells me there's more to this moment than just a casual encounter. Every time you're near, I can't help but wonder what's going on in your mind. Your energy is undeniable, and it's impossible not to be drawn to it. I don't need you to say a word. Your eyes say everything I need to know. I've been caught in your gaze more than once, and it's always left me wanting more. There's something about the way you look at me that makes me want to take a leap of faith. Your presence is magnetic, and it pulls me in every time I'm near you. Every time our eyes meet, I feel like I'm hearing an unspoken invitation to know you more. There's a curiosity in your gaze, like you're trying to figure me out just as much as I am you. You've got my attention, and I can't help but wonder, what's next? When you're around, it feels like everything is happening for a reason, and I want to know more. A look from you is enough to spark 1,000 thoughts in my mind. I wonder how many times you've caught me looking at you, and if you noticed. There's a mysterious pull between us, one that I can't quite describe but can't ignore. Every glance feels like an invitation, an unspoken question hanging in the air. Sometimes the smallest gestures mean the most, and your looks are more powerful than you realize. The way you look at me makes me wonder if you're thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about you. Your gaze is so captivating that I can't seem to break away from it, even if I wanted to. Every time our eyes meet, it's like a conversation that doesn't need words. There's something captivating about you, something that keeps me coming back for more. I find myself replaying moments in my mind, wondering what you were really thinking. You've got my curiosity piqued, and I can't help but want to know everything about you. Your silence feels like an invitation, one that I want to explore more. There's something about the way you look at me that makes me feel like I'm the only person in the world. Every glance feels like a door opening, and I'm standing on the threshold, waiting to step through. I can't explain it, but something about your presence makes me feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. You have this way of making me feel like I'm the only one who matters in the room. I often wonder if you're feeling the same magnetic pull that I am. The way you look at me makes me feel like I'm the subject of your curiosity, and I like it. Every time you look at me, it feels like you're seeing deeper than anyone else ever has. There's an undeniable chemistry between us, and I'm curious where it will lead. When you glance my way, it's like the world stops for a moment and everything else fades. Your presence lingers long after you've left, and I can't shake the feeling that there's something more. Your eyes hold secrets that I'm dying to unravel, one look at a time. I can feel your gaze even when you're not looking directly at me, and it's both exhilarating and terrifying. When you smile, it's like the world becomes a little bit brighter, and I can't help but notice. Every interaction with you leaves me wondering if there's something we're both too shy to say. There's something incredibly magnetic about you, and I can't help but want to explore it further. I find myself looking for you in a crowd, hoping for that one moment when our eyes meet. Your glance carries so much meaning, and I can't help but wonder what it means for us. Every time you look at me, it feels like I'm being pulled into your world, and I don't want to escape. The way you look at me makes me wonder if we're speaking a language that only we understand. You don't need to say a word. Your eyes tell me everything I need to know. There's a spark between us that I can't ignore, and I'm not sure where it will take us. I catch myself wondering if you feel the same pull that I do when our eyes meet. When you look at me with that intensity, I can't help but wonder what you're thinking. I feel like there's a story unfolding between us that's just waiting to be written. The way you look at me makes me feel like I'm the only person in the room, like everything else fades away. When you're near, the air feels charged, and I can't help but feel like something big is about to happen. There's a quiet intensity between us that neither of us can deny, and I'm intrigued by where it might go. I can't help but get lost in your eyes, wondering what secrets you're hiding and what they mean for us. Every glance from you feels like a message. I'm not sure how to decode, but I want to try. I feel a pull toward you that I can't explain, and I find myself wanting to know you in ways I never expected. Your eyes hold an intensity that captivates me, and I can't stop wondering what you're truly feeling. The way you look at me makes me think that there's something more beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. I feel like we're connected in a way that's unspoken but undeniable. Every time you're near, it feels like the world slows down just for us. When I look at you, I feel like I'm seeing not just you, but all the things we could become together. I find myself thinking about the little moments we've shared and wondering if you feel the same way. There's something in your eyes that makes me believe there's a whole world we could explore together. You have this way of looking at me that makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself. Every time we cross paths, I can't help but feel like the universe is nudging us closer together. Your gaze is magnetic, and every time I catch it, I feel like I'm falling just a little bit deeper. When you look at me, it's as if time stands still, and I'm not sure how to react to the tension building between us. There's an unspoken connection between us that feels both thrilling and unfamiliar. I can't help but wonder what it would be like to explore this connection with you, to see where it could lead. Every time you glance at me, I feel like you're seeing something in me that no one else does. There's something about the way you hold my gaze that makes me feel like I'm the only one who matters. You have a way of looking at me that makes me feel like I'm the most important person in the room. I can't stop thinking about you and wondering if you're feeling the same pull I am. When you glance at me, it's like you're telling me a story without saying a single word. There's an undeniable energy between us, and I can't help but want to know what's going to happen next. I feel like there's a spark between us that could light up the entire world if we let it. When our eyes meet, it's like we're speaking without words, and I can't help but be drawn into that connection. The way you look at me makes me feel like there's more between us than what meets the eye. I can't explain it, but when you look at me, it feels like you see something in me that no one else does. Every time I catch your gaze, I can feel the tension building, and I can't help but want to know what's behind it. You make me want to take a chance and find out what's possible between us. Your eyes speak to me in ways words never could, and I find myself wanting to understand their message. Every time you glance my way, I feel like I'm a part of something larger than myself.